So DeRace has been on the buy list of popular crypto gaming influencers for a very long time. Alex Becker himself is an advisor to this project. They just announced a really important update and their DERC token is absolutely flying right now. So I decided to go through their roadmap, their white paper, their gameplay, and most importantly, their tokenomic structure to find out if the DeRace ecosystem is something that you or I want to play in or invest our money into. All I ask in return is you hit that like button below, put on your horse mask, and let's jump in. So DeRace was created in 2021 by two entrepreneurs from Lithuania, co-founders Adomas and Adelaida, who have a strong history in software and digital marketing. They currently have about 20 employees, and as a team equipped with the power of blockchain, they're looking to tackle head-on both the gaming market and the horse racing market. And let me tell you, these are not small industries. We all know that over 40% of the world at the moment currently consider themselves gamers. And according to the DeRace white paper, apparently horse racing is a $300 billion a year industry. 300 billion. I was shocked to hear that. But DeRace want to improve this industry. They want to remove corruption and fraud, the slowness of the fiat currency, improve transparency, and even reduce the amount of horses being poorly treated. And of course, they have all the advantages of the cutting edge technology of Web3 and blockchain to do this, but can they actually pull something like this off? Let's have a look. So the main element of DeRace is of course the digital horse races, where as a player you can buy and breed digital horses to win money and prizes. Now these horses are completely virtual NFTs that can be actually owned by the player. And of course they don't represent real horses. But similar to the real world, each horse will have its own aesthetic and performance-based characteristics that determines what it looks like and how well it races. Here are the two horse characteristics that affect how well the horse performs in a race. The first one is speed and the second one, stamina, where both these attributes will get a score out of 100. But of course, the most important part of this and how this whole ecosystem works is nobody can actually see these performance-based statistics. Because otherwise, you would just never race a slow horse in a race because you know it's going to lose because you can see the statistics of the competitors that you're actually going to be competing against. Speed and stamina are key factors of winning the race. Speed and stamina can be speculated from horse appearance, bloodline, and previous race statistics. So you can enter your horses into races in various hippodromes in the DeRace ecosystem to run against other players' horses. And I must say these horses are actually quite fun to watch. Of course, these races will vary in length, so you can find the races that suit your horse's strengths and weaknesses. So let's talk about the gameplay mechanics of DeRace. So DeRace outcomes are decided by a very complex statistical sampling, computer simulation, and cryptography RNG algorithm. I'm just kidding. These outcomes of these races are decided by a random number generator. That's it. And the simplicity of this is not necessarily a bad thing. Say for example, you have two horses in a race and one of their speed is rated 80 out of 100 and the other one is 20 out of 100. Well, if the random number generator generates a number between 1 and 80, the first horse wins, and they generate a number between 81 and 100, the second horse is going to win. Meaning the first horse has an 80% chance of winning based on their characteristic. And this simple random number generation allows everybody to actually have fun and all horses have a chance of winning the races that they're in. Because even if you have a speed and stamina rating of 1 out of 100, there is still a chance you're going to pull something out of the bag and win against much faster horses, which is one thing that is actually very different to real world horse racing, where if you don't have a fast horse, you basically don't stand a chance of winning any races. However, there is an in-game mechanic that is very similar to real life, and this is horse breeding. So if you have a female horse and a male horse who are in love, you can actually have your very own baby horse. And now, just like the real world, these offspring will share genetic traits, both performance and aesthetically, of their parents. And the most these traits can actually fluctuate from their parents is 5%. Both NFT horses are sent to a genetic algorithm via an Ethereum smart contract. The genetic algorithm generates a third NFT horse, a baby horse, combining genes from both parent horses with a plus or minus 5% deviation. Now, one of my favorite uses of the blockchain inside this DeRace ecosystem is the genetics and family tree, which of course include the race history of every single horse in every race they've ever raced and the outcome of those races. And all of this is stored transparently and immutably on the blockchain. These DeRace family trees allow you to navigate through the heritage of every single horse on the platform and find the winning horses that you want to breed with. Well, not you want to breed with, but you want your horse to breed with. And for a very small fee, you can actually rent that horse, put it in a private stable with the horse that you want it to breed with and actually get the genetics from a winning racehorse. Pretty cool. Now, DeRace so far have done a really good job of keeping things very simple and actually having a working model out there. They are, however, slowly implementing more and more complex features to make the game even more fun, exciting, and rewarding to players. So here is a short list of features that DeRace are currently implementing and plan on implementing in the future to make the ecosystem even better. The first is the decentralization of hippodromes, because these racetracks are right now broken into their own fractionalized NFTs consisting of 10,000 individual tokens. By holding these individual tokens, you can own either a minority stake or a majority stake in your very own hippodrome. And when you own more than half of a hippodrome, you get to decide what races are run, when they're run, how much an entry is into your race, what the prize pool is, and of course you're cut out of the prize pool as a hippodrome owner. Something else I saw in the DeRace white paper that isn't in many white papers that I actually read is they are advertising how you can actually make quite a bit of money inside their game. And it's not just a narrow race a horse and make money. There's quite a variety of ways you can actually profit using DeRace, including breeding your horses, trading horses, racing your horses, hosting the races that the horses run in, selling betting tips, using their referral programs, or even ads. Which takes me to the next feature, advertising integration. If you watch a DeRace race, you'll notice that the hippodrome has billboards available to advertisers. Now, this is a really cool idea because both the hippodrome owner and the DeRace protocol can actually have an extra revenue stream in order to make more money. And while we're talking about generating real revenue, DeRace actually want to partner with a third-party betting company. This would open up spectator betting on all of their horse races, which would be absolutely mind-blowingly huge. Because if you think about the real world, how many people actually own a stake in a horse or race those horses versus how many people want to go to the races or even just watch them on TV and gamble on them? Well, the answer is 99% just want to watch it and gamble on them. And if DeRace could pull off this integration and make sure that it's in their DERC token, it could be massive. As would their next goal, which is to develop an iOS and Android apps, so you can take your horse with you on the go wherever you're going. And I kind of like this feature too because it almost makes your horse more like a Tamagotchi thing that you actually own and look after. And I could see a lot of people racing their horses on a bus on the way to work or on the subway on the way home from the gym just to try and make a couple of extra dollars. And lastly, every single transaction on the DeRace ecosystem, to paying the winners of the races, paying the hippodrome owners, even down to their breeding contracts, is all done through the power of the blockchain and the smart contract. Therefore, it is all completely automated and transparent and verifiable at any time. The same thing cannot be said about real world horse racing. And this transparency is true of everything in the Web3 world, including the ability to see large whales and large influencers' wallets, and therefore what they buy and sell before they recommend it to their fans. And that's why we have set up an influencer wallet tracker for large social whales like Gary Vee and Alex Becker, so you know exactly when they're buying into a new project and you can go and research it for yourself. We also do tokenomic deep dives for rising crypto games, create time-saving dashboards to save you hours in your research, and of course have a really supportive community because Web3 from your laptop can get a little bit lonely sometimes. And if you want to be on the forefront of this cutting-edge Web3 revolution without getting left behind, I suggest you might want to look at joining our Patreon community. I'll leave the link in the description so you can do your own research yourself, and I hope to see you on the inside. Now let's get back to the most important thing about the DeRace protocol, the tokenomics. The native token of DeRace is the DERC token, and the value of DERC at the time of recording is 38 cents. DERC has a circulating market cap of 27 million, which is 58% of their fully diluted $46 million market cap, as only 70 million out of 120 million total DERC tokens are currently circulating. The all-time high of DERC was $8.26 in December of 2021, which gave it a market cap of $265 million. The number of unique wallets, players, and investors holding the DERC token is just over 9,000 people and steadily climbing. DERC was launched via $1.7 million of private funding and $360,000 in a public offering ICO priced at 5 cents. The allocation of these tokens are as follows. 28% of the token was given to the private investors, 6% for the ICO, 15% for marketing, 5% to advisors, 11% to development, 10% to team, and 25% to liquidity and adoption incentive. Now, if you don't know when these tokens unlock, you might find yourself in a bit of trouble as an investor. And DERC do have a relatively large amount of tokens unlocking every single year. A rough estimate based on their tokenomics will give you about a 24 million DERC inflation, or about 20% over the next year. Now, you have to be really really careful in crypto gaming, because even if a project is really awesome and it has millions and millions of players, it doesn't mean that value is going to be reflected in its token if it doesn't have good token utility. So what does the value cycle actually look like for the DERC token? Well, all horse races, winnings, horses, and item trades are transacted in DERC tokens. Even deposits in traditional fiat currencies first get converted to the DERC token before being transacted. The other big question when it comes to token utility is, where does the value actually come from? You can't have everybody in the DeRace ecosystem winning money because somebody needs to be putting that money in. Well, luckily, this is one of the easiest tokens to track where their value comes from, because it's simply gambling, where most people who pay the entry fee to enter this race are going to be losing their money, and the winners, the top 3 people, will actually be taking the losers' money. You can think this is a very simple value cycle, just like people who go to play poker at a casino, because just like in a casino, DeRace and the hippodrome owner will also take a cut of every single race, giving them a real life revenue stream for their token. DERC also take a percentage of other transactions within their ecosystem, and are even speculating on launching new games but using the same DERC token to increase its utility. The one thing I would personally like to see here is something that actually degrades over time, sort of like Steppen's shoes. Once you ran in them, you had to repair them. Maybe the horse needs its own sort of repair potion or tail brushing before it can get into a new race, which of course would use DERC token to facilitate. Now, before I go into my price prediction and personal thoughts, I want to bring up the concerns that I have about this ecosystem. The first, of course, is gambling is a zero-sum game, meaning most of the players who raise and race their horses are actually going to be losing money. Now, this is not so much a problem because the other value is obviously they're trying to tackle the video game market. And where do video games derive their value from? Well, it's just entertainment. But there really does need to be enough entertainment and fun built into this platform to sustain those losing players without them abandoning it completely. And that's not going to be easy. The other concern I do have in my research is there are some competitors out there that could be eating into DeRace's market share. These include crypto competitors like Pegaxi and Zrun, or even real life horse racing who decide to take things digital or use the blockchain in order to enhance their own edge that they have in this market. So what are my personal predictions on the price of DERC? Well, let's start with my favorite thing, social narrative. There's a lot of big influencers, including Alex Becker, who are huge proponents of DeRace. I saw Alex Becker almost single-handedly take it from about 70 cents up to $8 in the last bull cycle. He's also on the board of advisors and getting paid by DeRace. And of course, he's going to want to see it do well in the next cycle. Even if it's going to collapse over the next 5 years, we may be able to bet on this social narrative that influencers are going to be shilling this token. And as long as you know when to get out, this could be a profitable coin. I really like the closed loop value cycle of gambling because it's got inherent value and you don't have to have crazy graphics or anything mind-blowing, because put simply, gambling is addictive. And I'm a big fan of the simplicity of this economic structure. Losers lose money, winners take that money, and the house gets a small cut of every single race. Because of course, races are infinitely scalable. Unlike in the real world where you need the horses, you need the jockeys, you need the owners, you need the spectators, you need the actual real life hippodrome, which is a lot of real estate, these virtual races are infinitely scalable. And although I don't personally find horse races that entertaining, I know a lot of people do. And if DeRace can tap into the millions and millions of people who are already watching and participating in horse races, they could do very well. I don't currently hold any DeRace tokens or DeRace NFTs, but given the right market sentiment in the next bull run, I may see myself picking some up. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.